What's all the rage? I'm Holly Hazard from For Public Education with our first episode of Extra Credit. What's all the rage? It used to be at school board meetings that they were so boring you could sleep through them, but not so lately. You could hear people screaming pedophile, communist, groomer, and other horrible accusations. You have to ask, do they really believe this? This hysteria is part of a coordinated effort to create chaos and to just put a question mark in the heads of parents. You may ask, why would someone do this? They're doing it to destroy our confidence in our public schools. And it's a very clever tactic, from Newt Gingrich to Steve Bannon. The wealthy and the alt-right don't want to pay for education, and they're out to shut it down. Education is the foundation of our democracy. Educated populace is one that is less likely to fight for their rights and more likely to fight for the rights of the wealthy, and they know this. Education costs money. It is a good 1/3 of our state budget in Virginia and about half of our local government budget. It is an expensive investment. And education also teaches children in our communities about our culture and our nature. It teaches them what our communities need them to learn and not simply what a small cross-section of radical parents wants them to learn. And that makes some parents very angry. So how does a small minority get so much traction these days that they're covered by Fox News, and even the Washington Post covers them at least weekly? Day after day, we read articles on how our public schools are failing and charter schools or even no schools may be the answer. One of the strategies of the detractors of public education has been to adopt these extreme theatrics that we see in our school board meetings and elsewhere, and the media just loves them, even while they're decrying a tactic of hysteria. And the more hysterical they can be, the more coverage they get. They wear paper bags, they threaten violence, they slam books down on the podium, they point their fingers and scream pedophile at people behind the dais. They use very carefully curated words that trigger deeply held emotions and beliefs. Words like pedophile, groomer, communist, pornography, all without any basis in fact, and words that are repugnant to the average middle-class American. They think that if they say them over and over again, somehow they will become the truth. And they've even gone so far as to object to a naked rat in a book about the Holocaust. They've apparently never seen Templeton and Charlotte's Web. They argue indirectly that your child could, quote, catch gay, end quote, if a teacher references a gay couple, or they read a book about a struggling trans child. As one other commentator, or many have said, if you can become something simply by reading, we would all be very hungry caterpillars. And they aren't just targeting the parents, they're targeting the system. They filed baseless lawsuits to remove school board members because they simply disagree. Recalls, which is the technique that they use, they have a place in our country, of course, for negligence or for abuse of power or for corruption of a school board member, but not for disagreements on policy. The place for that is very clear and simple, and it's at the ballot box. It is dangerous to allow people to file lawsuits to remove competent, hardworking public servants simply because they have a disagreement about policy. But just as with screaming pedophile or groomer, they don't need to make their case in court or anywhere else. They just need to make public servants wish they'd stayed home. And with this deflation of ambition and pride in their work, with no facts or evidence, the other side wins. They harass school board members online with death threats, threatening their children, other loved ones. They go after teachers, prescribing exactly the words they can or can't use in the classroom. They can't teach history. They can't say gay. They have to plan lesson plans months in advance. And teachers are leaving this profession in droves. And with this strangling of creativity and personality in an already very strenuous and underpaid profession, the other side wins. In Virginia, the radical right has successfully starved our own infrastructure budget for schools, and it will take decades for us to recover. We have leaking roofs, mold, out-of-date equipment, and all with a state with a multi-billion-dollar excess budget. Education is a pillar of democracy, and that pillar is on very shaky ground, the most shaky it's ever been. We need every American to raise their hand to support public education now, today, at school board meetings, and in the fall to vote like our future depends on it, because it does. This is Holly Hazard giving you extra credit for for public education.